Hello and welcome back to the NECC. It's week 6 and we are jumping back in with some more Valorant. My name is Vincent, joined by Plausible. Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's week 6 of 7. We've only got 2 more of these left, Vincent, and then it's time for playoffs. Today's match, very much a reminder of that. Gonna be a very dope day of Valorant. Should be pretty competitive, in theory. Knock on wood, don't want to jinx it, but I'm looking forward to a good game.
Yeah, I mean we're moving into Division 1, so I mean that in and of itself should be an exciting prospect, but it is a Fisher Fruit team that I don't think we've actually gotten to see on broadcast here up against an SJSU Blue that there's a lot of familiar pieces of this SJSU roster, so some familiarity with some new faces to the NECC stream. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Maybe, Paul, you can kind of talk me through some of those familiar faces and some less familiar faces.
Yeah, I mean, the SJSU roster is pretty much exactly what you would expect based on, like, if you knew SJSU last year. Cade, Khan, Yuri's all still sticking around with Thane, or Ethan, but Thane and Moon on that team now. I believe Moon was actually a sub for them last year, so we got to see him a little bit in different competitions. You look at Fisher Fruit, we've got a couple of actual, like, collegiate mainstays. Black Moose and Gaunch both have played quite a bit of collegiate. Gaunch actually on a different Fisher team last year, Fisher Ultra. You know, they love to switch things up over at Fisher. And then we have Melia, Bunnybee, and Marina coming in, all from different parts of a lot of, you know, there's a lot of like game changers experience between these three. I'm excited to see how this Fisher Fruit roster melds together.
Yeah, I am too. It's been a little bit of a weird situation for Fisher Fruit, though. Their introduction into this space, where they had a couple of forfeits the first couple of weeks, and to be fair, like those were forfeits against some of the best teams in their division. So I guess maybe didn't lose out that much, other than the opportunity to get to play up. But since then, they haven't lost a game. It's just been 2 games or 2 series that they've gotten the opportunity to play, considering they also had a bye week. But you know, 2 wins. That means that what they've been putting out there has been really good, and that is encouraging to say the least.
Solid wins versus GCU and Concordia St. Paul Blue. Both of those very good teams. I mean, any team in our Div 1 is going to be a very good team, but GCU was a team I thought was going to play for playoffs, and it looks like they're going to be eliminated instead, in part because of Fisher Fruit. Let's take a look at where this series is heading, because it's an important one. Both these teams sitting at 3 and 2. They've both had 1 bye, 2 wins, and 2 losses. A bye equals a win here, because we have 7 teams in this division. So they're both at 3 and 2, but so is Concordia St. Paul. SJSU will play them next week. So depending on who wins and who loses here, Fisher Fruit could essentially lock in playoffs tonight. If they win, they would just have to beat UCSD Gold next week, which UCSD Gold not having the best time. They're currently sitting at 1 and 4, a very winnable series for them. Whereas SJSU, they'd have a tougher opponent. We're going to start off on Abyss. This is SJSU's map pick because their bind was taken away from them, Vincent.
Yeah, they've been really working towards that bind, and people have been given that opportunity, so why the heck not? But they've gotten chances on Abyss too, that's the thing. So I think that that's sort of like a slight frustration, but they're like, aw, and then, okay, we just go Abyss. All good. That's kind of my thought process. That's what I'm thinking in their mind. Other things that are different this week, just if you haven't noticed already, the changes to the map pool that came in, it was just last week, those are live. So we are coming in, no longer Lotus or Icebox in our pool tonight. It is Pearl and Split. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the chance to see either of those. But, you know, it's all good. I'm excited. I know the Split one's like kind of meh, but I'm excited to see Pearl back.
I think it's funny that both teams like take priority bans and like flip the coin on Pearl or Split, but when given the chance, they both just like handshake agree, like, we haven't practiced these enough recently. We will send them to jail. We don't want to deal with them. I really think that this map picker ban, though, looks great for Fisher Fruit, if I'm looking at it, because Haven, yes, is a good map for Fisher, at least from what we've seen. They've played it once, and it went pretty well for them. So out of a sample size of 1 is good, but it's more so SJSU haven't historically liked Haven, but they have historically loved Bind. Literally as long as I've been covering SJSU as a team, which is 4 years now, since 2020, since Valorant came out, basically, every iteration of SJSU's team has been a Bind enjoying team. They have always liked Bind. They've always had great strategies on this map. And now with it being banned away from them, and with SJSU picking into the Abyss, which Fisher have played plenty of times already this series, or this season, even with the only having 2 games on their actual books, right? I think the fact that Abyss and Sunset are our first 2 games, SJSU have a lot of heavy lifting to do on one of these 2 maps to send us to an Ascent, or yeah, number 3, where they could potentially pick up some more ground.
I think that they're going to do that heavy lifting on Abyss, though. That's what I'm thinking, especially because Fisher, they've lost in Abyss this season. You know, it hasn't necessarily been one that they played it quite a bit, so it's not like it's not in their pool. Like I want to be clear. We said in the green room, and I think we were in agreement that like if you're not an Abyss team, like and you don't play Abyss, and somebody picks Abyss, it's kind of like an instant L. Is the way I see it. So that's not the case for Fisher. But I do think that SJSU, they've had better games against these teams. I think that they have shown up against some of the better teams on this type of map as well. So I think that's where they're going to do the heavy lifting. And I think that sets them up for, I'm going to be real, a Sunset, you seem to have a little bit of confidence. I'm not too sure. I'm not saying that Fisher will be bad there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying I don't know.
Team thinks that they're going to be bad there. We don't have a ton of sample size for Sunset for either of these teams. SJSU played it once at the very beginning of the season, a 13-8 versus UCSD. Doesn't give us much information, right? I just feel that both of these 2 maps are coin flippy, but in terms of all like 7 of the maps, these are the 2 maps that Fisher wanted to play, right? Like these are first and second pick for Fisher, whereas you know, if we were going first and second pick for SJSU, they would love to have had a Bind thrown in there, but good scouting from Fisher. So we'll see how much of an advantage that actually translates to versus like, you know, oh, well, here's our theoretical map pick ban versus like when we actually get down into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Also, I just, you know, shout out SJSU, who I think have really been knuckling down on figuring out their Abyss. Like that seems to be what they've been able to do. And on the other side, like Fisher just are willing to play just about anything. I think this whole like mid-season swap up of the map pool is unfortunately for them making it a little bit more difficult because they had a really wide map pool, but I think that has shrunken up just a little bit. It's a lot easier to exploit now because of these changes. Even though, like I said, I'm kind of down for it, especially down to see like Icebox gone personally. So it's like that's cool for me.
I have no love for Icebox left. No love for it left. Let's head into Agent Select. Let's head into our map number 1. Let's see what comps we're rolling with here. Abyss, a lot of different ways to tackle this map. Oh, yep. See, we already get quite a difference between these 2 teams. Not only the slight difference in which controller we prefer, Thane going over onto the Omen, and then Marina with the Astra, but look at those secondary duelists. Bunny Bee versus Moon. Yoru versus ISO. Oh, yeah. That's volatile.
I'm so excited for this. I love seeing the Yoru. I think it adds just a ton of complexity to this map in particular, but just in general. And I'm particularly always excited to see Yoru picked out as not like the main duelist in a lineup, right? Yeah. I've said this a couple of times, and you know maybe I'm overcooking, but I think that Yoru solo just kind of really struggles because you need to be able to create space with some other agent, and then let that Yoru kind of work in the background a little bit.
Well, ISO can have a similar problem though, right? Both these comps to me smell like these teams are going to want to just straight up fight. And look at SJSU already bolting through the middle of the map. Will they actually be in time to catch anyone here? Marina's looking for it, and she's good on the first. Nice pick through the box though for K to at least keep it even. Without smokes, this gets a lot trickier. Actually, that's a pretty critical pick there for SJSU, because if you hadn't gotten that, it was just going to be a full A hit with smokes and everything. There wasn't going to be much SJSU could do. But now, Fisher Fruit have to reconsider their options.
Yeah, it does certainly complicate things, and I think you can see that complication right here and now, right? Just kind of grouping up, ready to maybe play a split late in towards B with the position of the Cypher at the moment, but all of this is investigation happening right now through mid, and I think Melia unfortunately just gonna be blocked out of this round. Cade's got a double on the Sheriff, and that'll That'll make life very difficult for Bunny B. I don't know what they're going to be able to do here.
Yeah, we sped through the pre-show here, folks, because we wanted to get into the action, but Cade has long since been one of the most deadly players in all of collegiate Valorant North America. This guy is just nasty with it. I mean, despite the fact that even when SJSU don't have good games, Cade almost always does. This Jet is just filthy.
I mean, to be honest with you, you talked about how Vine's kind of been their bread and butter forever. I think a lot of that is because of Cade.
Yeah.
Like it's a map that I could just remember. You know, it's crazy to think that I can remember like clips of Cade on Vine.
Cade's
You know what I mean?
rays? Yeah, exactly.
like or even like he's one on the Reina too. There sometimes it's like yeah, like I could just think in my mind like when that type of like impact is felt in the back of my mind as a viewer, it's impressive.
This is a good read too from SJSU. They double stacked here on the B site. On the B site proper, or on the A site rather proper. Cade on top of the box! Looking to shoot fish in a barrel, but only good for a body shot on Gaunch to start that off.
Thanes might be in trouble here. Ooh, great adjustment on the Outlaw. Goes deep into this one. Moon right behind him. That ISO working pretty wonderfully. Now, Yuri teed up. Damage already done. I say that, but Marina actually connects, had the weapon advantage. And speaking of, I know we didn't see it very much, but SJSU really holding back in purchasing up weapons there. They had a lot of pistols.
Yeah, and I mean, really nice read at the end there from Marina. I think she just heard the tail end of the jump. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of like audio clutter, but you could tell she was very aware of where Yuri was coming up from. I mean, if you don't have that sort of awareness and Yuri catches you looking the wrong way, there's 3 different angles technically that you're worried about there. So very nice from Marina. I mean, that was 4 for her. Or, well, 3 in that round. Beautifully done. Flipping the anti-eco a huge deal, but even still, SJSU trying to keep some degree of weaponry. You see a lot of Sheriffs and Cade even had the Vandal, so they're not giving this over lying down. Will it pay off?
And a fair question, but one without a clear answer just yet.
Oh,
there is.
No. Thane, don't do it.
Little jiggle. That's kind of the best situation possible out of that.
Yeah.
You get the information, get further confirmation of that position and the weaponry.
Yeah, Thane really looking out there. He's going to regroup now to try and fight with Cade, the only one with an actual rifle, I believe.
Standing ahead.
But this is going to be a pretty heavy hit. Actually, they don't commit off it. It's the recon just for info, but they're not going with it. A TP is available, but this is starting to be a little bit slow. I'm getting a little nervous for Fisher. Oh, but they're waiting. Is Thane going to try and clear this?
You want to find it?
I was going to say, they have the Cosmic Divide, which is crazy early to have that up, but it's Cade, as you said, the one man on the site that could have had anything to say about this, who goes down after just the single kill. Fading away, Bunny beat through the Cosmic Divide. Oh, timing is crazy! Moon adjusts for 2, and it's another 1v1. Attempt required. Moon unsure where they're located, but Marina twice in a row asked to deliver and does.
Even with the shield up, Mary not good for that one. I mean, it's an impossible situation for Moon at the very end. But what a way to just steal your nerves. Marina so clutch 2 rounds in a row. Because I thought it was actually a really cool position that Bunny B goes up to. One of my problems with Cosmic Divide a lot of the time is that teams will give up too much space on the site and effectively give the defending team good staging grounds. But Bunny B pushed forward, but she leaves for just the wrong second. The timing there was so unfortunate. I thought that was going to cost them the round, but Marina pulls it back. And still a lead here for Fisher Fruit. Now they're heading to the other side of the map, but there is a pretty hefty stack here. And an op in Cade's hands. Oh, and you know he's good for him.
Every time. 2, not just 1. Escape made once again as the cage falls away. Yuri goes 1 for 1. Marina removed as Khan comes up from the rafters. It's Elia. They're all unfortunately gone already. It's Cade at the forefront of these round wins.
Yeah, Fisher Fruit trying to play with the tempo there, catch SJSU off guard, but an excellent read from SJSU, getting that many players over early. There wasn't the typical smokes toward A, I'm pretty sure, which gave SJSU some early round information, and they could rotate with an R, Paul. Rotate pretty early on.
Yeah,
Does seem we have a technical pause. Unlucky. Oh, wow. Cade hits 3 shots with an op and then DCs.
Yeah, peace, brother. I'm gone.
Hey, look, guys, I did my job. You guys got it for me.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I mean, he's already got the Bladestorm online, too, which is very nice.
That'll happen when you have a triple kill like last round.
I mean, you know it will.
I will say as well, like, Merida having that really high impact in the second round, allowing like the Cosmic Divide to get up and all that early. I'm already pretty impressed with how Fisher Fruit have utilized the utility, ultimate utility specifically, that they've been able to pick up. Like a lot of times, I think you get into this issue where you just sit on ultimates and you don't have a plan. I love that they had a plan like immediately.
Yeah, I will say these first few rounds have been really scrappy, so even though it's a currently tied game, Fisher Fruit hurting much worse in the economy, right? Like, Cade still has the op, was able to save it from last round, obviously, and a ton of money, and you're going against an eco now. Like, you're going to have to be dealing with that operator for at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 more rounds. That's going to be a little bit nasty, especially considering the tools that are starting to come online as we get into the 5th round. You can see the ISO ultimate available, so Cade can easily hold one side of the map or even just down mid. And wherever Cade's holding, you can choose one spot to be your weak section of the map and play for a retake with the ISO ultimate. You can see that B just leaving the Cypher alone there because they're not afraid to retake B.
Not having any fear, having confidence, important part of a winning strategy. Launch. Not seeing anybody, but there is a lot of
smoke mid though. Being able to get control of that, so you know the operator's not in mid. Now it's just a question of which site do you take the gamble on. Bunny Bee's about to find out the hard way where the op is. 2 down, a trade in the middle of the map, so options here to pivot to B, but how much damage can Yuri deal?
Yeah, I mean, working the first angle, it's not exactly perfect, but all good. They had pistols, so had a little bit more time to work with it, and the shield makes it very difficult to win that fight if you're Melia. I want to say as well, I love that SJSU are just not willing to let Fisher Fruit take the initiative, right? Like, when they lose an area of the map there, when they lose mid, they're immediately coming back to, re-clear B or re-clear A in this case. And I think it's really important to make sure that you're willing to do that, that you're always going to give Fisher a run for their money in that map control.
This is a really important round for Fisher, though. They've got both the Hunter's Fury and the Dimensional Drift up. They have to be able to get something here. And if they walk straight into this op, I'm not feeling good about it. Cade waits out. Oh, but just barely. I don't know how that didn't connect.
Looked like it was good on my screen.
Cannot use that.
Black Moose brought into the 1v1 from the Hunter's Fury. Moon bets them in that situation as well. It's Khan swinging from up high, and now Marina. It's another clutch required, this time 1v4, not just the 1v1.
I mean, what an insane grab from Moon there to get the Hunter's Fury of all things. When I believe there had already been a tag that had come through too. I'm pretty sure Yuri had gotten hit by that. I think Cade maybe even got tagged by it too. I mean, what an unbelievable yoink. Moon says, nope, not your ult anymore. We're dealing with mine. That is, I mean, look, I know we make a lot of domain expansion jokes here in Valorant these days between, ISO and Viper and all these things. But that is pretty, like, I mean, to a T. That is the domain expansion. I'm not going to let your technique go off.
Yeah,
absolutely
no, 100%.
Wild stuff. And now, I mean, Fisher, they used both their impact ults there. Now they just got to try and blitz onto A in this eco. It's tough stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, Dane is not really allowing this to be, an initial site it's going to be in.
Cade's watching for this.
The problem, my goodness. Bladestorm up and over, though. Gonch is able to connect, and I thought Dane was going to just leave them out. Play up in heaven. Not be too committed, but instead does commit. Hunter's Fury attempt to deny this plan, and I mean, it's effective to do that.
You are divided.
Cosmic Divide being thrown in too here. Fisher Fruit feel like they can win this eco Neural theft and everything, that will reveal the flank. Moon can no longer be left alone here. He's already good for one. I mean, Fisher is just, they're trapped in a corner here. They have to try and get rid of Moon. Moon! Oh, buddy. Not the shorty!
No,
No way! Runs it down straight in their face! That's unbelievable from Moon.
Bro,
That's
Moon,
filthy.
it's disgusting on so many levels because bro whiffed like an entire magazine. Literally, all the bullets were gone. Didn't hit a single one there. Oh
Didn't
my
even
goodness.
get the kill secured with the shorty.
Yeah.
But got enough damage, and Marina was out of ammo.
Like, maximum
Because it's
unlucky.
Just a sheriff. It's only got 6 bullets. Yeah, if there's a round you need a timeout after, it's that one. That can quickly break your mental if you're not careful.
That is a tilter for sure. I'm tilted on Fisher's behalf right now, Paul. It's so
Oh, man.
ridiculous, man.
A well-timed timeout here from Fire Knight. Break the momentum a little bit from SJSU. We're going into a gun round here. Not many impact ultimates available for either squad here, actually. So a very pliable round if Fisher can start to weave their way through here. It's tough, though, because SJSU's defense has been so fluid thus far. I mean, really, all you can count on is that Yuri, the Cypher, is going to be B, and Thane, the Omen, is going to be A. And that's pretty much just how every team plays this map. So it's not too reliable information. Maybe you try and work up mid some more. You know, you get that deep smoke to get rid of the op, and then you try to overwhelm it close and personal, but that feels like a risk.
I think it is, but I think that might be the right string to tug on right now because it has been an area that hasn't been left open by any means, but SJSU have been willing to let that
Yeah.
be a less important area of the map right now. You know, more interested in taking space elsewhere, and that is going to happen again at A.
We're so far up. Marina, ice cold punishes that. No op for you. And I mean, now the map's a playground for Fisher Fruit. That's the best case scenario for them early on here. I mean, it would have been even better case scenario had they gotten Thane. Spotting Moon pushed up too, though. Like, why not just collapse A? There's no risk here.
Yeah, they're going to eventually do that. It's just a matter of time, getting at all of the stars aligned, so to speak, and then they will do so, collapsing. Operator in hand for Thane.
Wow.
Is still very threatening from this position and can fall back, maybe get a little bit more done. Oh, but not a chance. Marina so consistent. They've been able to work magic across the board. Yuri 1v3 will be felled with multiple angles to deal with at the same time. Triple swing almost. And another triple up there for Marina is an impressive showing.
It feels like every round Fisher has won has been because of Marina. Straight up. I mean,
like it is.
Clutching 2 rounds before and then getting the opening pick and shutting down the op. Not once, but twice. Shut it down in Cade's hand and Thane's hand. That's insane.
I love the attention to detail too, right? Just understanding that SJSU, they haven't really been that aggressive so early. Still Marina watching for it.
Yeah, there was just that one round at the very beginning, right?
Well, I mean, and even then.
Oh, and I mean, Cade did push up pretty far in the last round too. Yeah. Slower round from Fisher. They have struggled a little bit in these slower rounds though when they don't get contact early. Oh, wow. I don't know how Bunny B didn't get a spot or a shot there.
I mean,
Unlucky that the Sova doesn't fall. But nice reposition to find Cade.
yeah, TP over. Just get a little bit of a different angle. Cade thinks that he's coming in to support his teammate, but yet he's the one falling into the trap.
This is fascinating from Fisher because most teams, you want to try and punch at the opponent's weakness, but Cade is one of the strongest players in Collegiate, and Fisher Fruit, when they win these rounds, it's let's shut down Cade first, worry about the strength of our opponent, and then we'll do everything else later.
TP over. Yuri's still here. Oh my goodness, denies the spike for the moment. Khan can now work something from the other side. He and Moon left alone. Over the top, the op doesn't connect either. Oh, and we're getting another 1v1. Moon isolating, but Marina again and again, so reliable. Oh, but onto the site, buddy. Be quick on the trade.
What a punish from Bunny B too, covering there for Marina. I mean, just really nicely done by Fisher Fruit. They remove Cade as an equation, as this variable, because imagine if Cade's still alive and you go for that same kind of chaos, and you have to be watching 3 different angles to worry about where the enemy top-fragging Jet will poke their head out from, right? That's a totally different round, but they remove Cade, and then they go into B and let it devolve a little bit. Let the SJSU players try and fish for a bit too much, you know? I really think that Khan and Yuri, a bit ambitious for them to be taking the fights they did. And I'm not sure it was... It felt like Khan, Yuri, and Thane were all on their own fights rather than trying to trade off each other, whereas you could see by the very end, Bunny B, Marina, Fisher Fruit, more than comfortable working with each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, I think more just trying to play off of one another's contact than actually playing with one another, you know, with the double swing or something along those lines.
From the Astra.
This is a big problem at this point. Like, Marina she's unstoppable at the moment.
It was spotted over toward B, but critically doesn't have the op. So Fisher Fruit feel comfortable going toward that side. Of course, the Neural Theft will give it away a bit. Rotate's already coming in, so Fisher Fruit, they gotta go fast rather than slow here. They gotta make stuff happen now. Cosmic Divide, but you gotta be careful. Yeah, Yuri's in a cheeky spot.
I think they saw at least a little bit of what's going down. This is a great spot from Gonch, actually. As that smoke fades away, Yuri about to be in trouble, doesn't know it yet, and as it fades, there it is. Easy enough. It's Black Moose who actually picks him up, though it doesn't matter. Gonch would have had it before.
Wow! What a swing there from Gonch. Knew that he was compromised. The high-low from Marina. I mean, just another one to add to the record. Marina and Melia excellently played there. Another beautiful round from Fisher. That timeout doing wonders. I don't know what FireNet said to Fisher Fruit during that timeout, but wow, this feels like a much more comfortable, like an actual cohesive unit of a team.
I would agree with that.
They were discombobulated at all in the first 7 rounds, but in the first 6 rather. But this is something else.
I really don't even know that there was like a huge adjustment tactically here. They've just done a great job playing together, playing a slower deep. When they have gone for these slower rounds, they played them well. Here's that aggression dialed up. It's becoming a little bit more of a consistent factor, and it's a bit of a different look. A lot more bodies, and a bit of a different way to approach it. And that's a kill, but here comes the dimensional drift. Bunny B going to be spawning out a whole bunch here on the back of the site. It's free, and Black Moose Hunter Fury to try and capitalize off the back of it. It is a confirmation, but Moon still brags, continues to pop them one after another, gets baited by the clone, but not entirely the round done. Moon has made this winnable.
Now it's a Black Moose clutch here. A little stuttered swing from Khan throws Black Moose off the game. SJSU doing a good job. That early aggression paying off for once. And then, I mean, really nice for SJSU to not lose their head. There was a lot thrown at them there. The Dimensional Drift and the Hunter's Fury in combo. But I think Thane and Yuri really just did a phenomenal job just keeping their cool. Thane especially, I mean, under so much pressure from the Hunter's Fury, but knows that the real fight is Gonch and the people flooding into the site.
I mean, just crazy ambitious for SJSU. They have 4 players pushing A at the beginning of that round. They're just all there. Kong going fishing and actually going to...
an ambitious Hunter's Fury.
I mean, got a tag off of it. Honestly impressed that he even gets that.
Wow. Melia was very far up for how early it was into the round. This is bold from Moon, but makes it happen. Now a 2-player lead, and Bunny B not looking too good on health either. At least gets the weapon upgrade. You'll take that in the last round.
No doubt about it. Oh my goodness, dude. Moon just doesn't have any stop. Refuses to back down at any point. Khan is about to catch Marina, and meanwhile, Cade on B has the rest of the team on lockdown. This is an interesting idea from SJSU, right? They had the ultimate advantage there, and I think their thought process is, let's just try and take very little risk you know, Khan maybe throws away the Hunter's Fury, but also could get something massive out of it. And same true for the ISO, right? Try to find some advantage, and it works out in both ways.
All in all, a very back and forth half, as it felt like both teams had significant stretches where they were in more control. SJSU come out of it a little bit ahead. Pistol would obviously be nice for them, but I dare say it likely won't impact, or rather doom, either team. It looks like Fisher Fruit. I don't want to play a little bit aggressive on A themselves, or at least they're ready to fight it. A main's not the issue, though. It's a quick catwalk play from SJSU. How many times do you see people push catwalk?
Not very often.
Not really ever.
Bunnybee's actually, like, still looking until the TP comes in.
Actually, a lot of Fisher is considering this mid play now.
Well, they know that it's not towards A. That's the beauty of that early A push. That's kind of their idea. Unfortunately, this is kind of the perfect call. The other direction is to put pressure here that spreads back out the defense, and Bunnybee calling that they're still towards mid, but there's no guarantee about where this fight is actually heading until just about now.
Oh, I mean, the Sheriff's just so deadly. Gaunch picking him off at range. It's so hard to win any fight against a Sheriff here. And there's two of them flying at you.
Remaining.
Gaunch even covered by Melia there. Really nice from Fisher to not get caught off guard by the tricky play that SJSU was trying to go for. I mean, caught with a couple here, but 17 health. You have to imagine it's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, not even intentional, but high ground, low ground, that'll work just beautifully for Fisher Fruit.
Really nice for Fisher to not overcommit through mid. I mean, when the catwalk door is broken, you think to yourselves, oh, they're definitely going A, but Bunnybee is still judicious in checking it. Only takes a little bit of damage and still able to repivot to hold down B once SJSU set their sights there. So, nice pistol for Fisher Fruit. We'll see if they can keep SJSU from answering back for last half. No flipping the anti-eco here. Or at least you don't think so.
Well, I mean, I think SJSU were a little ambitious with the amount of pistols that they kept over.
Yeah.
So, that's a difference already. Fisher Fruit not actually taking that. It isn't too much of an investment on the SJSU side, but they are going to get a spike down, which is already going to feel pretty nice. Going to move forward. Picked up by the clone. The flash comes in to follow that up. Will force back these guys for the time being. Is Conch 2 bullets, 2 kills. Pulls out the shorty to see if he can get anything else done, but no. Really no need. Now step back and let the rest of the team collapse in, and collapse they do. Not a single death. No bodies lost in that retake for Fisher.
I mean, I called Bunnybee judicious on the first round. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say this whole team is rather judicious. Dotting their I's, crossing their teams. I mean, the fact that Bunnybee is using the clone there that deep toward your own defense, all the way back in security, I mean, that is just crazy awareness that they could be pushed up that far. So well done, Fisher Fruit. They know that they have to write the whole story before they try and go for an ending.
And just like that, the slight lead that SJSU were able to formulate at the end of the half there, it's gone. And it is a pretty nice bonus round, too, that Fisher Fruit are working with. Didn't really have to rebuy on anybody because they kept everybody alive.
SJSU trying a fast round now. I mean, they have guns here. They can overwhelm these players on the site, but that's a nice trade there from Melia. Takes quite a bit of damage doing so, but getting rid of Cade. Any trade where Cade dies, I think, is a good one as long as it's 1-for-1.
I would agree. Everybody's
That's just a
evacuating.
question of, I mean, it is third round. It's likely that SJSU have enough money, but I wonder how many. Yeah, I mean, Marina has quite a few stars left here. This isn't easy for SJSU to hold on to.
I mean, with the Owl Drone, too, that's a lot of information. Got our Recon Bolt teed up, ready to go as well. There's just a lot to work with here for Fisher Fruit. They've got confirmation that everybody's on the other side of these smokes. Marina holding for the defuse, gets the half off before going down. It's important as Black Moose will take the show away. Unfortunately, everybody goes down, even through the smoke. Won't be enough.
Yeah, just barely SJSU are able to hold on to that one. And they hold on to 3 weapons as well, which is critical for their economy going forward. I think Fisher Fruit, there was a world in which maybe they get that if they go a little bit quicker. I think they were a little bit indecisive on which side they wanted to try and fight, or if they wanted to try and push them into the smoke or pull them into the smoke, but there was enough spam damage there to where sticking the spike was not impossible, but a bit of a long shot. Now we get actual rifles. We've got Gaunch with the op as well, holding over on B. See if Gaunch is able to get into a position. If A players can hold A main and stop this push, Gaunch will be set up very nicely. Oh, rotating kind of early, though.
I think they just want to get Gaunch back
mid.
towards mid.
But it's a really passive position.
Yeah, I thought he was going to move forward a little more.
Because there wasn't a full commit to A main. Yeah, look, the Owl Drone's already clearing out here. So now Gaunch can set up in a little bit more aggressive of an angle, but you have used the Owl Drone to get that. And your information was essentially, well, Gaunch, you shouldn't be here. Go back to where you were. That will work out better.
That was a lot of info denial, though.
Yeah.
Early for SJSU. The good news is that Fisher, they still have Marina actually pushed all the way through MA. They know that this is not going to be A by any means. Melia holds the line for the first, moving forward, but Thane and Khan make their way in. Hunter's Fury to try and further open this up, but again, not necessarily able to guarantee. It just siphons off some of the tension away, but Spike Planner down? This is just a little bit overcommitted from SJSU.
There's no way you expect Mary not here. Not on your life. Goodbye, Khan. Nicely timed, nicely done by Fisher Fruit. SJSU, I think overcommit a little bit there.
I agree.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what they saw on the rest of the map that could have sold them on the idea that B was where they wanted to play into. I mean, the best information that SJSU got there, like you said, because of that information denial in mid, was Yuri said, hey, they used the Owl Drone. So, you know, mid's probably not safe, but there was still quite a bit of time to try and figure out where people were playing and where they were set up and get yourself an actual advantage. Pushing into B that hastily.
I'm wondering if Khan just thought that he had a lot more space because he didn't get any tags with the Hunter's Fury. Just kind of like on site there. But okay, Gaunch. That Spike not spotted but down temporarily though, more than likely. Cade committing through the edge of the smoke. Gets Punny B though towards A to make sure that is just not an avenue of approach available to SJSU.
And I mean, you're going into the Cypher site again. You're hoping that Melia doesn't catch you off guard here. This is going to be tricky for SJSU in a 3v4 at best.
Spike down, B.
Oh,
One enemy remaining.
the double trap wire over by Danger. That's dirty. I like it. There's no way you expect the second one on that side of the site. Very nice from Melia, catching them off guard. And now Fisher Fruit, for the first time since round 3, have a lead.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it a buck. I think that, you know, that's a great hold for Melia. I'm a little concerned. I feel like SJSU are making some hasty decisions right now.
It does feel that way.
Like, I don't know what they're seeing that is, you know, causing that call to be made. Whatever it is, it's something, but it's not right.
It's very early in the half for SJSU to be so confident in where Fisher Fruit would be set up as well.
It's you
Now
and me.
finally they're getting some information. Moon will grab Marianne A. Is that the player you want to fight in here? Okay, only barely does Moon get away with that one. But that will be the critical pick to open SJSU up and get them an advantage. This is a round they desperately need.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take that for sure. Bunny B, though, as the smoke fades away, adjustment made, but Moon stays tall. It's 3 in total. 1 with the ult, and now 2 from the other side. Melia almost lined up a double there. HP low for 2 of the remaining SJSU members, but ultimately they'll find victory. I'll tell you what, though, Paul.
That's not a repeatable round, though, right?
No, it's just not. That's exactly what I was thinking. You know, great round, but also, how do we do that again?
You don't have the ISO alt up every single round. You're looking at probably 2, if not 3 more. I mean, Moon's been having a great game, don't get me wrong. But that's not success that you can immediately repeat. It's good that we're back to even. I mean, we're tied up at 9-9. This series is delivering early on. But now the question is how do you try and snowball that success. Marina set up here too. Does get pushed off by the vulnerable though. One way. Will it stop fully? This push. Marina tagged too. He's just gonna go for it. Oh! Okay, manages to come back. No way you get that through the smoke. Tracks the rope and everything.
Absolutely ridiculous. That just shouldn't be allowed. Funny be hoping to play for the plant denial, but drops down into an entire team staring at them. You said it wasn't necessarily all of the big ultimates anymore. The Blade Storm, what was needed. Melia made a 1v4, isolating on the first, and Khan's just running and gunning. That is ridiculous.
Just nasty, man. I mean, the awareness that if Marina is not on the ground, if it's not out where you can see her, she's got to be going up the rope. Just aim for the center. You aim center mass, you might get enough shots to get it done.
Yeah, it's
so
you're
well
right.
done by Cade.
But also,
It's still ridiculous. Falling off the map, hitting that shot. I mean, come on, man.
like, dude. Also, the like, quick thinking, right? It's like,
exactly.
Oh, not there, must be there. Also, I'm just gonna toss all the blades and hope and pray, and the prayer's answered.
This is what I was talking about early on. Cade ended up being a little bit quiet toward the back half of SJSU's defense as Fisher Fruit were getting some favorable rounds in against Cade. But make no mistake, this guy frags. This guy frags. Fire Knight knows it. Why do you think this timeout's called? Hey guys, we need to figure out A because they've been killing us.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that that's so fun to watch. But SJSU, there is a very hard stop I think they're going to find with that strategy. You know, it's been 2 rounds now. They've been able to kind of pull that idea off. It's only going to work for so long.
I mean, the good news is this 3rd round in a row here ain't great weapons for Fisher Fruit. This game will quickly run away from them if they don't manage to find something. I mean, it is a 4-stack A, so I'm glad SJSU is not just, you know, ramming their heads into the same area of the map over and over again.
Yeah, they know that something's coming, right? Timeout. This is obviously some adjustment going to be made, and the adjustment clear. Oh my goodness, what a ridiculous TP that was! I can't believe Bunny Bee's done that.
Bunny Bee is a little bit of a monster. I like it. I mean, it didn't work, but I you know, you get points for gusto in my book.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. They're a bit absurd, but
Moon, careful there. Almost got a shave in the back of your head. That Moon's just gonna be there forever. I mean, he's just gonna watch for that for the rest of their life.
pretty much.
One enemy remaining.
No, they ain't.
Yeah, there's
One
nothing
bullet.
in this round for Fisher Fruit. They were really hoping that SJSU would just keep running it toward A. But
I mean,
a nice pivot
on
at
an
just the right
eco-
time for SJSU.
I think it's worth the risk there, right?
Oh, it's worth the risk. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I'm of the opinion, anytime you have an eco, pick one of the 3 major lanes and gamble it. You know, a third of the time, you might catch them off guard and win a round. The other 2/3 of the time, you weren't going to win the round anyways.
Yeah, or if you have, you know, some other ultimate utility or something that you can get creative with.
Sure.
But definitely if you don't want to invest that, Melia just going to hang on to the rifle. Get that for next round. I think that Melia had invested that before, so didn't have a lot of credits to kind of spread out.
This round could decide the first map here, Vincent. We are still dredging the bottom of the barrel for economy for Fisher Fruit, and it's almost map point for SJSU. Reminder, this is their own map pick, so SJSU pretty happy about how this is going so far. They just need to convert. And a pivot in the defense here from Fisher Fruit. A gamble, a push toward B.
Dude.
But it's just their anchor, Cypher, who will be alone on the A site. And I actually don't think Melia's going to be in the right position to deny a plant here. It's going to have to be the retake.
It is. And
At least the ISO all whiffs. That's the only good news for Melia right now. Oh, more good news. You get a trade.
Yuri, oh my goodness, Sconch just gets caught off guard. Yuri with a neural theft continues moving forward. The Thane, I thought might have gone down too, but it's a trade onto Melia. And these rounds, they just go by fast when SJSU are hitting A.
Yeah, I think Fisher Fruit were, we were talking about how SJSU were too hasty earlier on. I think Fisher Fruit ate a bit of the wrong apple there, right? They're eating a bit of SJSU's food. I think they had great tools for a retake. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Hunter's Fury was up, or maybe it came up just now. But either way, the Dimensional Drift was certainly available. I noted that earlier.
I think SJSU actually deserved the credit because they were being super disruptive. Didn't allow them to get into position to like actually retake.
Either way now. Now you're going to have to do quite a bit of work once again, left alone on A. Just going to give it up. Now is where you have to try and go for the retake. Good news is all 5 players will be around for it. A bit of a late rotate in here from Gaunch and Black Moose, though. I mean, the spike's only getting planted now. SJSU taking their sweet time as well, so it's not super punishing. Nice hit, too. Good combo there. Mary not finishing that one off. She does get punished for it.
Oh my goodness, Cade!
Whoa!
Cade for 2 more on a freaking dime. He turns, can't be stopped, and Black Moose now alone, 1v3. Over to the Vandal. This is a real possibility. They're separated.
You don't look down here.
No, you don't. And as if that wasn't hard enough. Moon swings in, and for the fences as well. Knocks it out of the park with a victory. For SJSU on their map pick. It's an Abyss that has been kind to them all season long, and it continues to be.
Yeah, I mean, nice stuff from SJSU. There were times where we thought they were, losing control of the game, but mostly that was just times where Cade was quieter or Moon wasn't absolutely popping off, right? The second that Cade got back into the rhythm of things, I mean, in that second half, it really felt like SJSU ran away with it a little bit toward the end. And it wasn't like it was an unreasonable defense either from Fisher Fruit. I think that they still had generally good ideas there. It's just, I mean, you saw at the very end there, Cade pulling practically the 180, not quite a spray transfer, but the reset there. Just insane that Cade is able to pull that off and plays like, the Blade Storm that we saw earlier. This is the kind of like fragging power that Cade brings to a team, and it makes it's so difficult to just play normal Valorant when there's someone on the other team that can just throw everything out the window at a moment's notice.
Yeah, and as we take a peek at the stats here, I think another factor for SJSU's win, obviously those individuals that you were just talking about, 100%. But yeah, it is those individuals powered by just kind of like some of the basics, right? Like the amount of times that they're able to get away with just like an A execute there, that they're just getting so much success. It's just well drilled. It's something that SJSU was able to pull out consistently on their attack, and Fisher, as much as I think that they tried to respond, I'm not saying that they didn't know what to do. They couldn't figure out a winning strategy to stop it. Even though they tried a bunch of things, they gave it a lot of tries, and I think that they deserve credit for that. Unfortunately, that just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Marina. There were quite a few rounds that were just absolutely insane there. But the good news for Fisher is that was not only the first map, but it was also SJSU's map pick. So when we come back from this break, we're going to head on over to Sunset and see if Fisher Fruit can even up the score.
Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously. Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Yeah. There's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is...
supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean you won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
From the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
I'm so worth it.
And we are getting back into the action. It's map number 2 that's coming up next, Paul, and I'm excited for it. We got a sunset that Fisher picked out for us. Tell me about what your expectations are. Are we going to see a third map? Is this where Fisher just kind of bounced back into this series?
This is interesting because there's not much expectation to go off. One of these teams has played this once. That's all we know about it, right? Like when it came to Abyss, we had like track records throughout the season, at least like a couple of plays between both these teams, right? And even history beyond that before, right? Sunset is kind of just like a man. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll kind of see. That I am excited for the comp that SJSU played last time they were here against UC Davis or UC Davis?
UCSD?
No, UCSD, not UC Davis. Why am I thinking? Look, all the California schools are UC, a bunch of different letters that confuse me because I can't read. I can't read, Vincent.
It's
It's
tough.
not fair.
Hey, listen, I'll back you up on that one. It's tough.
But the comp that SJSU has played here is really interesting because they pivot into like this neon clove gecko look, which is like we had a couple of rounds on Abyss where we were like, ooh, man, SJSU are playing too aggressive. There is no too aggressive with a neon gecko clove comp. Like,
That's true.
You should just be fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And if you're ever not shooting your gun, you're playing the composition wrong. So we're up for probably a very explosive sunset if that's the actual comp that SJSU ends up locking in. But there's not a ton of information we have to go off for going into sunset.
Yeah, and shout out our producer Adam, who just reminded me that that map changed with the patch as well. So
True.
yeah, I despite casting it like 3 times since it came out, yeah, I totally forgot. So all of those like set things that we think we know, we may not actually know, Paul. We may know nothing actually, realistically.
Yeah, the gecko changes have happened too. Now that I think about it, so like. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the gecko can still be viable. Just to be clear, like to be fair,
it'd still be. I think it still could. Be okay.
So I think there is a chance that SJSU haven't had time to recook what they were working on. They might just like go back to Old Faithful, because I mean honestly, like the B changes, I mean they matter, but I think that for that comp in particular, they probably matter like a lot.
I think the B changes are mostly just make it a little bit. Not even more difficult, just different if you're trying to play for, like, post-plant spam.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, with that setup, with, like, a Gecko with the Sova, I feel like you're pretty effective at playing that, so you don't have the breach, which is kind of a mainstay. I don't know. I'm like halfway in, halfway out, you know?
Yeah.
I got cold feet.
I could take it or leave it, truly. Yeah, it is... And I mean, that's really the only significant changes that were made to Sunset, was just like slightly changing some corners, right?
Yeah, and then
so I think it does more to affect like your comfort on a map rather than it affects like the overall intense strategies. I think we're going to see a lot of the same stuff here. Maybe not as much like, oh, we play Breach Gecko, maybe even throw in like, we didn't see a ton of Killjoy on this map, but you could technically, right, and post-plant it out on B. You don't see Killjoy much on this map, not because post-plants were bad, but because Killjoy just struggled to hold the A site as effectively, but...
Yeah. Well, and Cypher's just really good here, too.
Cypher's also just really good. The cam for mid is so nice.
Yeah, let me. Can I come at this from a different direction? Let me.
Yeah, please do.
Let's flip the switch on this for just a second, because one thing that I think is interesting to think about is that I'm weirded out by the fact that Fisher are so confidently picking into Sunset. And that's because like Ascent was on the table. Like that was a possibility that they could have gone with. And I'm not saying that they have like an insane Ascent. That's our decider, if you forgot. You know, I think that they're decent enough there, but we have more data to go on, right? And that feels like more of something that would be a comfort pick for these guys. So the fact that they're so confident makes me feel confident. And maybe it shouldn't be that way, but it does.
I think that's a fair point, especially considering how little we've I mean, first off, we've never even seen this Fisher Fruit team on air, but how little like even just stats we have. Right? They've only actually played 2 series. 2 series. One against GCU, one against Concordia St. Paul. They were both close series. Neither of those series had Sunset in it. So it's tough to say, you know, what is in the water that Fisher Fruit, like this was where they wanted to go, right? But I think to your point, considering it's likely that they probably pick Abyss a lot of the time, and we haven't seen much of them, it's very possible that in those other 2 games, Sunset was just banned before they wanted to pick it. And this could be their second favorite map. Like that is how like much variety we are working with when it comes to Fisher Fruit. Anything is on the table.
Yeah, I agree with the variety point especially.
You could get bananas, you could get apples, you could get oranges, you could throw a dragon fruit in there. We really just don't know.
Yeah, whatever you want. I mean, in those, like, it's Abyss, Lotus, Ascent, you got some Haven in there. Like, dude, they're all over the map, literally. But the map is just about ready to get started, and it is, as I was kind of speculating for SJSU, the reasoning, not sure, but they're gonna stick with what they had, right? And I think that this makes sense. There just hasn't been a lot of time for them to, like, figure out, even if what they have is now broken, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, Gecko did get a lot of adjustments coming into this upcoming patch. The alt now costs more. Wingman is a little bit more effective, right? Concusses in a wider radius or a wider like cone effectively. Dizzy, a little bit less reliable, is shorter time activation, right? Or no, I'm sorry, more reliable, less potent is what I meant to say.
Correct.
At its cap. More reliable, less potent at its cap. So
Yeah.
we'll see how much those actually impact. I saw a lot of players, especially in collegiate, saying doom and gloom about the Gecko, but we'll see if that matters. First up, Conch just hitting the floor, immediately benched.
Yeah, I think some of that doom and gloom a lot about like even the thrash changes, because you know you get a lot of value out of that. It was so cheap before. It's a re-clear for SJSU of the elbow side. Marina gonna have to fight their way out, but now they're all alone and she's gone. Yuri dominating in this pistol round, and SJSU, here's where they were very confidence inspiring on Abyss, is when they were together making plays. They were an unstoppable force.
And I think we're gonna, even in just that first round, we already see what is gonna be the difference between these two teams a lot of the time. SJSU, Moon wasn't afraid to fight, wasn't afraid to come back for another fight, wasn't afraid to go for a third one, all when only one player had dropped. Whereas Fisher Fruit were trying to be a lot more methodical about it. You know, they wanted to try and flash Gaunches into the corner and then, you know, get him around through elbow and this really methodical take. And I think if Fisher Fruit can land those methodical takes effectively, it'll be great for them, but I'm worried they're going to get caught off guard by just how scrappy SJSU is going to be willing in every single engagement.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. A tough one, and okay, a bit of a crazy spam, not because it connects, it's just late in the spray. That's a great control of the Stinger spray pattern, man.
Yeah, nicely done. Flawless. Follow up. No flipping the anti-eco this time around. SJSU, only one death across these first two rounds. Of course, they've been very quick couple of rounds as well. Fisher Fruit either going to have to match to adjust this pace or find a way to slow it down. The good news is the longer this first half goes on, actually the longer both halves go on, the more likely it is that Fisher will be able to slow SJSU down. Not only because they get, like, more comfortable with where and when SJSU was going to push, but also they'll just straight up have more util.
Yeah.
As they have more money.
Exactly. Specifically the breach is what I'm looking at to like allow that. I think Bunny B, they're going to be a really key part of denying SJSU's game plan if we continue to see what we saw in these first two rounds.
Already a ton of mid control for Fisher Fruit too. Don't dare push through their Omen Smoke. I like that. Breaking the door. Just giving a lot of questions over. The Owl Drone well timed though from SJSU. Khan has a great angle here, and they're very confident now that nothing tricky is happening into B. So you can already see the rotates preparing for that A play. SJSU have read this round very well.
Oh, but they had the right read. Fisher Fruit changing it up on them. They're going to evacuate the A side. Back to B is the plan of action, but
is there a plan? Fisher Fruit, I mean, you could see a couple of them actually, they double back for just a second, wondering if they should head back to A, but no, it's the Owl Drone to try and fake presence there. And it's done a good job of faking presence. 4 players from SJSU have moved over to A, so at the very least, this spike's getting planted.
Ain just needs to stay alive here for the moment. Tagged up, though, and stunned out of this round for the moment. Black Moose trying to play the cutoff strategy there in mid. Like I said, things staying alive is key, but eventually goes down. The fact that mid is lost, though, creates problems for Fisher Fruit. They can't exactly escape with ease, though they will get away with it. Oh, yeah.
Huge pick.
Great shot, indeed. And now there's just no pressure from that area anymore. Nobody else coming back in until now. Yuri, who moved in from market side, looks to put some pressure on the spike. Wingman, but there's not much to be given over there. A bit of a free shot.
No way.
He's got no idea.
Smoke going up. Covering the defuse. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, Mary finds the right angle eventually. That was getting a little bit dicey. Fisher Fruit, I think they would have liked a little bit more cleanliness at the very end there, but that pick on Moon was just so huge. Not only because the angles that you were talking about, they had to worry, you know, a lot less about someone coming from Boba, but also just because the Neon is the most dynamic part of the retake. It's the hardest thing to predict when you are holding against a retake because the Neon can reposition so swiftly. And, like, your information game has to be so up to par. So Moon going down there was a huge boon. Nice attempt from Yuri to swing that back, but at least something for Fisher Fruit early on here.
Potential learning opportunity.
Mid-aggression.
This is absurdly aggressive, to be honest with you. Cade's got one. Moon. Yeah, indeed. Now, Moon, super committed, so that trade comes in almost immediately. But Fisher Fruit working at 3v4 for basically the start of the round is so difficult.
I mean, this is 4 you could comfortably retake with, too, if you needed to. You can see Thane already backing up, just making sure not getting flanked from door or anything. Nice 3-stack, too. I mean, how are you ever going to fight those 3 players?
You're not. You just can't.
In that formation. Yeah, it's not winnable.
Like, you gotta get lucky.
Sure. You'd have to get so insanely lucky.
Dusted.
This goes back to something I was talking about that we saw early on the defense of SJSU's Abyss that I was actually giving them a lot of credit for, that I think they maybe got a little bit too set in their ways with. But in the mid-round, grouping up and just re-clearing a space that you've lost already or that you had players in before, like Moon goes down, and as Moon's going down, whoever's making that call is grouping up 3 players to just swing together at the top of mid. I love that. I think that coordination is something that is really hard to get with the speed that SJSU are doing.
Fruit trying to match it now. Bucky flying forward, good for 1. Okay, yeah, Con didn't see that coming. Bunny B had another with just a classic too. Moon, you gotta be careful overcommitting to this, especially when the flash comes in. Moon thanking the stars that there was nobody there. Still trying to go forward. Moon, you got 49 HP. Back it up. I don't care if those are pistols. They can still take it down.
Moon is a menace, an actual menace to society right now. Continues
That's
going in.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, that one had a little bit more space to work with. Dane's gonna get the cutoff. It's Black Boost who didn't even have a gun out.
I'm out of here.
I mean, this is the way Moon wanted to play, even on the ISO.
From being a sub last year for SJSU to now being the tip of the spear while Cade is still on this team.
I mean, it was John Hamm and Kahim. Like, come on.
Look, man. I'm not saying there weren't really good players on SJSU last year. I'm saying that Moon has leveled up insanely compared to the last time. I think it's been over a year since I casted Moon last, so fair enough, plenty of time, but just really impressive.
Showing off.
Knowing the right limit to play on these different agents.
Maybe a little past it too. That last round.
At least thus far, it hasn't gone too far past it. At least not punishable. I mean, you can't say the same for Yuri, and I think this is a bit ambitious.
Oh, but I mean,
okay.
Honestly,
okay.
Not too ambitious. Just missed the shot.
Honestly, a caster curse.
True.
I was hyping him up too much. Nice pick from Thane, though.
Yeah, I mean, and he's cut them off. Like, this is now very difficult to overwhelm all. No, Thane turns away at the wrong time. Yeah, timing is just the worst.
One enemy remaining.
Still winnable, though, for Cade.
I mean, this is Cade. Not quite, though. Bunny B able to get the grime going in that fight. I mean, that was very tricky.
Oh, and got the spike
Sidestepping
down,
around
too.
like that. Yeah, exactly. Just a good spray from Bunny B. I mean, these last couple of rounds have just been scrapped to the high heavens.
Again, though, SJSU, they're really so fast at these decisions in the mid-round. That's what I'm so impressed with time and time again. You were talking about Moon maybe overstepping, and I was with you until I realized that it was a crossfire that they had already reset up, even though it was broken seconds earlier.
Yeah, fair enough.
Take flight.
Alright. An early owl drone here committed by Khan. That means that mid is going to be actually really vulnerable for Fisher Fruit. They're going to break the door and rely on these smokes to just information drain SJSU. Make them commit to one side of the map or the other. And if Fisher Fruit are more than comfortable with playing into 50-50 on whether they go into the 2-stack or the 3-stack. Either way, they'll have a player advantage. I don't want to see them overcommit to mid here, though. If anything, I think that owl drone toward A needed a player to go with it. Yeah, they're going to try and fight mid. I don't know about this.
And there's just a lot there very fast. Not recon bolt. It's so juicy. Catches 2.
still going for it.
Well, and if they sidestep and go to B here, that's exactly what SJSU are hoping.
I mean, Rolling Thunder on the side. Gone. Ooh, missing the jump, and Cade was not caught by the Rolling Thunder. This is going from bad to worse for Fisher Fruit. I think they overcooked on this round quite a bit, and even the Not Dead Yet coming in to bring Cade back into the fight. Doesn't do much. Black Moose good to shut that down, but Yuri with an excellent trade and knows where the last one is too. Bunny B, I mean, with just 12 seconds left, there's no chance you're getting that done. Fisher Fruit, yeah, that was an overcooked round, certainly. I think they had a great idea in the early round and even in the mid round, but just overcommitting to that mid play. Mid is not a place where the attackers on Sunset can play through most of the time, in my opinion. Like, unless you sense a specific vulnerability from the defending team, like, you have to use it as an information leverage. You can't go all the way into top mid as an attacking team 9 times out of 9.
I think I'm looking at this a little bit differently. I'm looking at SJSU, like, look at all that they committed in that round to ensure that that doesn't go right. But it's another fast-paced play for Gonch. It's all the way through. The ultimate popped out, and, I mean, very obvious where they're coming from, but they ain't stunned. How does he get stunned by that? He was gone.
Just chucking the rifle over. I like that play. Dizzy does catch Conch, so that'll slow down the overdrive a bit. Oh, Melius, that was the perfect angle.
No!
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, and I mean, now with 3 left standing. I mean, Fisher Fruit, they at least get the spike down. That's what they were hoping for more than anything in this round. But kind of just like Abyss, SJSU off to a pretty early lead here, 6-2. I'm feeling like we're about to get a timeout from Fire Knight.
Yeah, I would agree. Perfect time, I think, to call it would be now. But this is so much more dominant than it ever was on Abyss. SJSU, like, they had rounds where they were winning, but those were individual rounds. This is more of just a team effort, right? Everybody kind of doing their job, getting involved. Every time that it's needed. It's not multi-kills that is bringing it across the line.
And now Fisher Fruit, it looks like they're just going to change the pace up entirely. These slow mid rounds haven't been working for him, so it is a full B commitment here we are going to get. The question is can they flush out Thane and Cade? Will they let these two deal any damage? Spotted as well, so you know it's a commitment. That is the second player that was spotted. Breach at that.
And Cade, off the back of that contact, just pops their way in. Thane's still unknown here on the back of the site, by the way. They don't necessarily know that they're here. Is Neon about to come through with the rest of the team? Adjustment made! Not just one. Still, Cade on the back of the site. Should have been more. Yuri, though, coming through market side. Good for 2 more.
Yeah, I think even just down to the straight up approach there from Fisher Fruit, I'm a little bit perplexed why the breach of Bunny Bee was the one kind of leading the charge there instead of Gonch's. Unfortunate timing, you could leave it up to, right?
I mean, I think it's just
Gonch's in tow, like in tandem. But Bunny Bee's the one that gets caught on the angle.
Yeah.
It's tough stuff, though, when you lose your breach and you've already decided you're going to full commit to a site. Because, I mean, you think about those back site fights where people were able to trade 1-for-1. Those go way differently. And now, I mean, yeah, sure, a Bucky softens up 1. Melia's good for a second. Hang on. They have the tempo here? Can they get onto A fast enough before the rotates are here?
No, there was Molly in the way initially on the left-hand side, and now through elbow, it's a little bit slower. Yuri, though, exposed out in the open. It is a boatload of utility to force him out and through. Adjustment made for Cade. Oh my goodness, every time they need something, Cade delivers, but he needs them all. 1v2, the spike down.
Cade, you give him an inch.
Oh, he saw him.
Spotted. I mean, Mary, only the sheriff, though. Trying to whisk the spike away to safety. Nice work from Melia, calling, hey, don't fight it, don't fight it. I have the flank. That's the teamwork I've been waiting to see from Fisher, and that was an excellently played round. Using Gonch as the sacrificial lamb to trade and enable the rest of Fisher Fruit to get in there. And that is the pacing, and that is the spacing that I want to see from Fisher Fruit. I want Gonch to be that far forward because you have so much to back it up. Because you have recon darts, owl drones, flashes, paranoias, all this utility, where even if Gaunch just doesn't trade well,
They're gonna go again.
space created will be important enough.
Same
Moon was
round.
spotted immediately too. Has to back out of that.
Yeah, but there's 3 here this time. It's not exactly the same, and the commitment is willing to just fall back away from there. Thrash goes through, hoping to slow it down, and Bunny B, it catches him while he's in the Thrash, I believe.
Yep.
Makes it so very difficult. It's an off angle, though. Swings through. Oh, my goodness. Body's thrown at the situation in elbow. As Thane swings behind. Cade does the same. Oh, almost another. But it's just going to be 1. Now turn 2. Cade's got to do it alone again and again. Does it so many times. Cade with another clutch.
Just filthy from Cade. I mean, even the mechanics there at the end, trying to use the not dead yet to pseudo body block for Thane, give Thane the angle on Black Moose. Just unbelievable. I thought that was a good round from Fisher, all things considered.
They found their avenue.
The way SJSU will strike back at you. They are not afraid to take a punch and keep on swinging themselves. I mean, 2 fall there, and Moon is going forward, not back. That's something you just can't expect. Moon is able to do so much work there. I mean, shuts down Gaunches at the beginning and even pops the overdrive. I mean, good luck ever seeing the A site now, Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. Full paranoid, but it doesn't matter. Moon.
It's only a short-range blind.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Switching
I mean,
sides.
that's the actual like martial arts finger of death there, right? The physical contact.
Gotta go.
I'll just say Moon did some Jackie Chan type stuff right there.
Yeah, honestly.
Like,
you know what it is? It's a joy buzzer. Moon just sprinted at him with a joy buzzer and hit it on their face.
Yeah.
That's absurd. I mean, what a team this new version of SJSU is looking to be. SJSU, an org that has almost always stood toward the top of collegiate Valorant. And this year seems like it will be no different, especially if they're able to keep this up. What a phenomenal defending half. And that was the defense. That's the defense. This is the fight comp. This is the I'm gonna be in your face comp.
I thought it would be a problem.
Defense, I would have said they're like that statistically should be their weaker side. Look at that catch. Sniped out of the jump. Moon ain't slowing down for nobody.
Hey, it's a little ghost upgrade. Moon feeling it right now. This is hard to stop.
Money.
Cash flow positive. Thane goes out A. It's all down and out. Con pushes to the smoke. Cade catches another. And Bunny B, what can they do? He's 1v5.
Honestly, getting 1 there is impressive.
True.
10-3 now. SJSU on Fisher's map pick.
I think it's cool that Cade, right? Like usually part of the more aggressive part of this team, right? Especially with, losing John Hamm, right? Like such a key part as the controller of this team. And I did kind of have some question marks about what the makeup of this team looks like without him. But the fact that they're able to kind of move into maybe a little bit of a goofy, like not super well-known composition here, but one that fits their play style.
I like that SJSU have a second hyper-aggressive player now, because it lets Moon just look absolutely ridiculous and still get a ton done. And then once Moon has made an opening, Cade is a monster you couldn't possibly plan for. Melia caught here too. I mean, just nothing you're gonna be able to do with the shorty in that scenario.
He does the most.
Fisher Fruit are gonna need 8 borderline perfect rounds after this one to even have a hope. Cade catching him in the smoke too.
A little bit brought back, but it's a lost round. It's just a matter of time. Yuri, head on a swivel. And Boba to make sure nothing gets further out of hand. Yeah, 11-3.
This is where the bonus is like no other bonus, right? Like
bonus be bonusing?
Buy whatever you want here, and you still consider it. Even if they go for a full gun round here, which they almost are, it's still a bonus because A, they have so much money from keeping people alive, but B, you're playing for essentially maybe like 2 rounds technically, but maybe even just 1. Look at Fisher. They had to force into that last one. They're forcing into this one.
Yeah, this is...
You would think it was Fisher that was bonusing if you just looked at the economies.
I mean, Fisher just caught in that trap of, okay, we're down big, we got a force bite, and the same true in this round when you lose. Bite's gonna go down, or maybe not. You almost caught it. What? Yuri tracks?
Break the wing,
Spike
man.
planted.
Tracks the shots from the Vandal through the smoke, and it removes her from play. Thane cuts up any mid-aggression. Marionette will be in trouble if it even matters. Marionette, wait, hold on. Never mind. Marionette staying alive, and it's making this possible.
Black Moose for the clutch. A potentially game-saving one. But Cade, just quicker. Knows where Black Moose is going to be coming from, not afraid to swing it wide. I mean, that's Cade and Moon you were fighting against, too. That would have been a very difficult clutch for anyone.
That's what I think what makes this comp so exciting is just how Cade can play on the Clove. Like, normally, it's so difficult when you're on a controller to be part of the aggressive pack in any way.
I love what Clove adds to the game when you give players like Cade the opportunity to play a character that's technically for the team, but you know what Cade's going to be doing. You know that Cade's going to be swinging, not afraid to die, not afraid to fight. And with Moon doing the same thing at even faster speeds than Cade, how could you ever put a stop to this team? Already a full B take. And a desperate retake for Fisher is going to be the name of the game. They can't even get the full spam. Wingman is safe behind the new little corner.
And Moon is tucked in the back cubby, too. This is such a brutal crossfire.
Moon doesn't... Oh, does get cleared.
Good. Had to clear that. That's the right thing to do. Stunned up. Can't see. Can't shoot. Nothing at all available for Moon.
That's the due diligence we need Fisher to succeed with. But will they have time to do more? They're trying to swing in. Bunny be good for one, but shut down shortly after. Black Moose not able to take the heat. Cade stepping up, and here comes Thrash. Oh no, it doesn't get the detain, but a judge sprinting straight at you, and the time is just too low. Knives to end it. Melia good for the headshot with the knife. But it's done and dusted. SJSU with the 2-0 against Fisher Fruit.
Yeah, and I think that this is a map of Valorant that comes down to understanding who can make adjustments faster, right? SJSU, anytime Fisher Fruit found something to work with, that A attack, for example, SJSU had an answer for it immediately, and it just wasn't true on the opposite side. We saw the pace that we were looking to see from SJSU, and Fisher had no answers at all.
It's tough to have an answer unless you've scouted that comp ahead of time. I mean, it's just so fast. It's so fast. Like, what response do you offer running the composition that Fisher did? Like, if you play for full retake, we saw what happened in the last couple of rounds, right? Moon just tucks in, takes all your util, and it doesn't matter that Moon dies. You still have to deal with Cade. What an insane work.
They didn't have a gun round.
Work was done.
They didn't even have a gun round.
Exactly.
That's how fast this comp was working. I mean,
and SJSU on the defense, I mean, they threw in a handful of, you know, the same rounds that we saw on Abyss. There were 3 or 4 rounds where SJSU decided to go full in and decide to play aggressive defense. But for the most part, they were just comfortable holding a little bit further forward than you would expect. Not all the way up, just a little bit further forward. Fighting you in a little bit of an uncomfortable spot. Well, and that was enough to throw Fisher off their game.
And I think that, along with the fact that they were willing to then, you know, take a loss in space and then come back and try and grab that space back in relatively fast succession. Like, they were...
see Moon on that one round. I'm just thinking about the clear, the re-clear, the re-re-clear, the re-re-re-clear, you know, and getting 2 picks during all of those. I mean, it's nasty stuff.
Yeah, and that to me, that combo of 2 things you had mentioned there, and the ability to continuously lose space and then take it back within such a like, we're talking 5-6 seconds, and they're making that decision. That for me is what has, you know, what elevates this team, what makes them, you know, so strong.
It makes it a very difficult composition to predict as well, because when you're not relying on a ton of like, utility wise, what is unlosable utility in that composition? Like, what character can you not afford to lose? Like, maybe the Gecko, if you lose him really early, right? Because you want, like, the Dizzy. but like every character on that team is well equipped to give their life for the cause. to be like, yeah, I'm gonna fight right now because it's the best time to fight, and it doesn't matter if I die. Something good will happen, right? SJ, like that is the, not only is that the I want to fight comp, it's the I cannot possibly be afraid to fight comp.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw that. That's the way Cade was approaching it. That's what Clove allows Cade to do. It's fun. I love it. I mean, this was my first time getting to like watch it from this perspective, getting to see SJSU run it. And I mean, it gives me a lot more faith in what they've been doing. You know, it looks kind of maybe a little wild from the outset, but when you see the way that they like to run this, it just makes a lot of sense. And it's snowbally as hell, man. 13-3 is the final score line there after a really competitive Abyss that, I mean, I think we could have seen on Sunset had it not been for that snowball.
Yeah. And, you know, shout out to SJSU. I think they've almost locked in playoffs now. I think there's a crazy world where we get like a 3-team tie between Concordia, SJSU, and Fisher Fruit. Like if Concordia beats SJSU next week, then we could technically get like a 3-team tie, and it depends on how head-to-head works out because one team will have beaten one other team in like this big triangle, right? But SJSU looking at least very likely. Their fate is in their own hands now as to whether or not they will be able to qualify for playoffs. Fisher Fruit now have to become SJSU fans and hope that SJSU beats Concordia and that Fisher are obviously able to win their game next week. And I think we saw a lot of good things out of Fisher. For a team that I was familiar with a couple of the players as individual components, but wasn't sure how they would all fit together very neatly coming into this series. I think there were a lot of things to be excited about. I think that Fisher Fruit, they want to be one of these more like mid-roundy teams, one of these more methodical teams, as opposed to what we saw from SJSU today. But when you play that sort of style, there's a lot of homework that goes into it, right? Yeah. There's a lot of time you need as a team to be able to play that level up to the standard of the best teams in collegiate, like SJSU or your Maryvilles or Winthrops and such. So I think Fisher Fruit are on the right path, and I'm excited to see if they make it into playoffs, what damage they can deal to a lot of other teams.
Yeah, I too am excited. Yeah, the hard part there is like you gotta be able to know what to do when the papers get ripped up, right? Like it's a good idea on paper, and then when you hit the game, sometimes that just has to go out the window, and that can be tough, which I think is part of the reason why that they were really effective in their timeouts. I mean, that's one thing that I thought was really fun to watch, is how effective they were. All of that, though, leads us into a close here. Exciting 2-map series. SJSU able to take the win. Like you said, more likely than not, locking in playoffs, TBD still. Yeah, close. That being said, we have a whole lot more action here coming at you through the rest of the week. We got League of Legends coming in tomorrow. I'll be back if you want to come and say hello to me for Counter-Strike 2 on Wednesday, and then Rocket League for a spooky Halloween Thursday, and then Overwatch 2 on Friday. We will be here every single day, starting 8 p.m. Eastern, so make sure that you're coming to tune in for that. With that being said, on behalf of myself, Paul, everybody behind the scenes, pushing the buttons, and our observers as well, thank you, and we'll see you next time.